I've received a parcel, and that means one thing: a new review and unboxing video. As you would have seen in the title, today I finally caved and bought the G Pro X Superlight mouse. For those of you that don't know, this mouse is the successor to the Logitech G Pro mouse that was very popular. And I've actually used that mouse for years now, so I can give a pretty good opinion on whether I think the Superlight is worth buying over the G Pro. Before I unbox this, it's worth mentioning that I bought the mouse directly from Logitech, and they also throw in a free mouse pad with every purchase. So I'll be checking out both of those products in this video. And if you, like myself, have access to student discount, Logitech accepts student discount and gives you 30% off any purchase on Logitech. So if you do buy something from them, make sure to look into that student discount. So without further ado, let's crack this open. So first things first, we have the mouse pad that I was telling you about, and it feels and looks really clean. I've actually been needing to get a new mouse pad, and this is exactly the same size as my SteelSeries one, so I'm excited to see which one's better. But moving on to the more important thing, the Superlight. So if you don't know, there's 3 color options for this mouse. There's black, white, and the more crazy one, which is pink. I've personally gone for the white. I was very tempted by the pink, but I'm gonna go for a white setup in the future. So yeah, this is the first step in my transition to white peripherals. I'll probably be doing a review on the other stuff that I buy in the future. Make sure to keep an eye out for those. I can't get it off. So the packaging itself is pretty much identical to what the G Pro was. So in terms of the dimension of the mice, they're exactly the same size, same shape. So if you're transitioning from the G Pro to the Superlight, you don't have to worry about the size and shape, it's just the weight that's the difference for you. And if you've never used either of these mice before, I can tell you that they're a very safe shape of mice. So they kind of suit every single hand and sort of like grip style. This doesn't mean it's going to be perfect for you necessarily, but you shouldn't have any major issues really. So in terms of the weight, Logitech say the Superlight is 63 grams compared to the G Pro, which is 80 grams. So that's a 17 gram reduction. I've actually just weighed it myself as well, and this did come out as 80 grams, the original G Pro. The Superlight actually came out as 61 grams, just lighter than it should be. So in terms of the differences with the buttons on those mice, they've removed the right-sided buttons on the Superlight. As you can see on the right here, I don't have the buttons in right now, but I've got the covers on them, and they haven't got them on the Superlight. And they've also removed the DPI button from the bottom, which is here, and obviously it's not on the Superlight. To be honest, the DPI button wasn't very important anyway, because you can just change it on the software. One of the relatively big changes on the Superlight is they've added much larger skates on the bottom of the mouse. As you can see here, the surface area is much bigger than the ones on the original G Pro. This should generally help the mouse glide better along the mouse pad. Moving on to battery life, the original G Pro has about 48 hours when it has its lighting on, so that's for the logo and the lights that sort of appear here. And without any lighting at all, it has about 60 hours of battery life according to the Logitech website. They've actually managed to increase the battery life of the Superlight to around about 70 hours of constant motion, as they say on the website. So they've both got pretty incredible battery life. You can literally charge it whilst you're having dinner, and you won't have to charge again for like another month from my experience. Now, one of the bigger points I'm sure most people will be focused on is the price point of these two mice. So starting with the Logitech website, the normal original G Pro has been knocked down to around about £110 regular price, and in comparison the Pro X Superlight comes in at around about £140. So it's quite a substantial difference. You can use a normal Shroud discount or something like that to get it down a little bit. I do know that elsewhere on the market, Amazon do have a good deal on, but I don't know how much longer it's going to be on for, so it might not actually be on at the time of watching the video. When I checked earlier, I think the original G Pro was literally like £59 compared to like £110 for the Superlight, so that's pretty crazy difference on there. So as I mentioned earlier, I use student discount on mine. I personally, along with the Shroud discount, got my mouse and mouse pad for £93. To me, that's actually quite a bargain. Okay, I think I've covered basically everything I want to cover for this part of the video. I'm going to go and try the mouse out for a few days now and let you know whether I think it's worth the purchase, and let you know what I do and don't like about the mouse. So I did almost forget to show you what else is in the box. So this is how you'll see it if you buy the mouse. So you take the lid off and you find the mouse straight away at the top. If you take the mouse out, you then have this little bit of plastic that you can take out that I'm going to struggle with taking out here. Lovely. So then you've got this little rectangle here and a little box with play to win on it. So I'm going to start with the little rectangle that's actually a wireless receiver. So you plug the USB into one side, and then on the other side you plug the charging cable, and then plug that into your computer, and that's how you connect the mouse magically. And then next up is this little box here. So this is the box that has the charging cable in it. This is the one that you either plug into your mouse to charge up, like a wired mouse, or you plug it into your receiver to use it as wireless. And then we also have this little package here with some goodies in it. So first off, we have this little magnetic thing that goes on the bottom of the mouse. I think this is to act like another skate for the bottom of the mouse to provide more glide. You can see there, you replace it with the little G logo and it will look like that. We've also got this little cloth. I didn't know what it was for at the time, but you'll see in just a second what this is actually used for. And it's for these. So you have these little grips that you can put on your mouse button 1, 2 and on either side of the mouse, and you just use that cloth to clean it off first so there's no dust on it. And there's a nice little LOGITECH sticker. Right, it's been a couple of weeks of testing this mouse and now it's time to give my verdict on whether I think it's worth it. So first off, despite the fact that I used a very similar mouse before, I actually feel like I noticed the difference pretty much straight away with this mouse. It does genuinely feel like it glides much nicer across the mouse pad, which could be either the skates at the bottom or just a reduction in weight. I think it's about 17 grams I said, that's less than my old mouse. So I'm sure if you have a much heavier mouse then you'll notice it even more than I did. And in terms of the battery life that I've experienced with this, it's genuinely been amazing. I don't remember if I've had to charge it up at all. I know it's only been a couple of weeks that I've used this mouse for, but there's no issues with the coating on it yet. The coating on my old G Pro did eventually start coming off slightly, but it wasn't really anything that caused any major issues whatsoever. I thought I should talk a little bit about the G-Hub software. Obviously, with there not being any DPI button on this mouse, this is how you have to change your DPI. The software itself is pretty easy to use. It's simple to change your sensitivity or your polling rate. So in my experience, you don't really have to worry about any issues with software. I would also say the mousepad was really good. It was basically the same as my last one, but it's like my favorite mousepad, so I can't complain, and it looks pretty cool. Just in case you've never used a wireless mouse before, I wanted to mention that I've never noticed any latency issues with either of these mice. I used wired mice for years, and honestly, the difference is huge. It's so much better. It's pretty obvious that I do prefer the Superlight over the original G Pro. But is it worth the money? I feel like whether or not you buy the Superlight or the original G Pro really depends on how much money you're willing to spend. Both of these mice are excellent and they're probably top of the market. It seems like the original G Pro is going towards a more budget-friendly pricing, especially with mainstream sellers like Amazon putting them up for like £59 on sale, and it is still a very, very solid mouse to pick up. But if you're willing to push out the budget a little bit more and invest in the Superlight, then I 100% recommend it. I know it kind of sucks just saying like it depends on how much money you're willing to spend, but that is kind of the case when there's two quite similar mice with very, very different pricing. But by no means do I think it wasn't worth me investing in this mouse. I'm so glad I did it. Okay guys, that's about it for this video. If you did enjoy it, please do all the usual stuff, like, comment, subscribe, and let me know if you do pick up this mouse or any other different mouse as a result of this video. Just remember, if you do pick up this mouse on the Logitech site, you can use code SHROUD for a little bit of money off, and if you're a student, you can use student discount as well. As always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.